Hyperdrive Hockey is brought to you by the Game Over Network. Make sure to follow us on YouTube at Game Over Network and catch Hyperdrive Hockey in audio format on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any other good streaming platform. Hello, beautiful hockey fan. Welcome to another episode of Hyperdrive Hockey on the Game Over Network. My name is Maxime Vanout, and along with me today, Daph and Max, who is back. Daph, how are you doing?
Really glad to be back, guys.
We are happy you are back too. Mr. Kevin Laramie is on the board. Kevin, how are you doing?
Doing pretty good. It was my son's second birthday party, so this weekend. So Halloween, birthday party, 4 crazy busy days that made me discover the big world of Peppa Pig. Probably a little too much.
Okay, so he's an Halloween kid. Nice.
Yeah, well, November 3rd is his birthday, so it's a big stretch. Okay. Halloween, then his birthday. So yeah, we're gonna have a big stretch for the rest of our lives for those few days.
That is cool. Any Halloween party for you guys? Well, Kev, you had your son's birthday party.
Yeah, were you
a Halloween party?
No. Pretty quiet. I was working, so.
Yes, of course.
No Halloween party. Did you have one?
I had one.
Ooh.
I had a Halloween party, we decided to go a bit last minute, my girlfriend and I, because, well, as Daph, you know, and as I'm about to tell, I am from about an hour and a half from Montreal. This is where most of my friends still live, and so we decided to go about 2 weeks ahead because my parents are headed down south for a few months. Won't see them before Christmas, so we figure, you know what, let's do a big weekend of doing all those things. And here's the thing: we had a sports-related costume together, my girlfriend and I, because the theme of the party was duo. You can do whatever you want as long as it's a duo. And ever since I've been with my girlfriend, the first time we watched football together, which has become a staple of our autumn. I watch football, she reads. She has a fascination for stuff that I don't have a fascination for, watching sports. And I think the very first time we watched the NFL together, she spotted the Chain Crew and instantly said, we should disguise as this one day on Halloween. And I was like, yeah, no, not happening. And for 3 years, she's been, I really want us to do this once. Like, you're going to be the post and I'm going to be holding my post. And I'm like, yeah. And you want me to be, no, not happening.
I love
it. So when we decided 2 days ahead and we didn't really have time for a really more significant costume, that's really easy to do. I was a chain post for Halloween. My girlfriend was the chain officer.
We need pictures of that.
Was humbling. Yeah. I didn't think about sending it to Kev, but I will send one to you guys in the chat. It was very, very, very gratifying to be disguised as a post.
And Kev, were you the Peppa Pig family?
My son was Georgie Pig, so he had a big costume with the blue shirt and his dinosaur. And my wife and I did not find costumes for us because we looked, we didn't find one that we would have in time, so we just put a hat on and put nice clothes. So we were basically dressed as something, and Georgie Pig was our son.
But for those of you watching in video format, Daph, you were kind of nodding the whole. You're familiar with Peppa Pig? Like, you looked like you knew what he was talking about.
I'm an auntie.
Yeah, I'm an uncle, but I was introduced to the world, but I couldn't tell who's who. I know there's a Peppa Pig. I've played with a little figurine with my niece.
Yeah, no, my niece was really into that when she was about 2 years old. Now she's 6. Okay. She had all of those phases. Paw Patrol also.
Yeah.
Mario.
Oh yeah.
Big Mario Bros fan.
Oh really?
And yeah.
I'm so happy that everything Nintendo is still in. Like, this is one thing that has stood the staple. Like, Mario, Zelda is still going strong. Pokemon is going
strong. And
Pokemon is going freaking strong.
That's what she's into right now. And I'm so glad because I can relate, you know.
Wow.
Like, Peppa Pig, I don't really relate.
Yeah, exactly. I saw recently there is a remake of the 2 original Pokemon, Red and Blue, coming soon. And I saw it. I need to check this out because my girlfriend has a Switch. So if it's coming out on Switch, I guarantee you I'm going to play some Pokemon. Guarantee you,
Absolutely.
I'm going to play some Pokemon.
And just to finish the parenthesis of Peppa Pig, it's really weird. Once you listen to all the episodes and stuff, there's like Easter eggs and there's weird things with the characters. Like the teacher, Madame Gazelle, is
Nice.
actually a vampire. And she's like, she's from the old country, like probably Transylvania. Daddy
Okay.
Wolf is actually the big bad wolf from the Red Riding Hood. So he's always, I huff, I'll puff, and I'll blow your house away. There's just little things like this that you pick up when you watch this. It's way too long, but one day I'll have my thesis on the origin of Peppa Pig. And it's like The Simpsons. There's weird things, and once you start looking into it, you're like, oh, wow, this is interesting.
The type of children's show that has a few references here and there because they know that some parents are watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need
To me, the
that.
goat of that is Shrek. Those Shrek movies, these are as good as a child as an adult, especially the second one. Shrek 2
Yeah.
is goated, completely
A
goated.
lot of cameos there.
Yeah. All right, shout out to all those children thing we just talked about. Hopefully you're still with us. Thank you so much. We are, of course, on the Game Over Network. Follow us on YouTube at Game Over Network. Give us a follow. Hyperdrive Hockey, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you stream your audio podcast. A lot of things coming today. We will, of course, talk about every Canadian teams. But the story today, we are a month away from the announcement of the Four Nations Cup, Four Nations Face-Off, roster revealed. And so we decided today that we will try and predict the Canadian roster. So Daph and I have made our roster, and we will talk about it, debate it, and we will come back to it in a month to see who was right, who was wrong, were we completely off the mark. You know what, guys? I have something to say about this. You remember, I think 2 weeks ago, I was like, who's hyped for this? And I was completely not hyped. You both weren't really hyped. I did a joke on my TikTok account. I think I was like, the tournament nobody cares about. And a few people were a bit in their feelings, telling me basically to shut up, which is fine. You're allowed to be hyped for the tournament. But as I was doing my roster, Daph, there are a few things that, like, you know, the possibility of some players playing together, I'm not going to spoil everything right away, is the one thing that is kind of getting me like, yeah, okay. But at the same time, I'm a bit pissed that we're going to see some of those combinations for the first time in that, what I personally consider a stupid-ass tournament, instead of the Olympics.
It's a preview. It's a mise en bouche.
Yeah, but here's the thing with the preview. You got to watch a movie afterwards. You don't just watch a preview. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go 13 forwards, 7 defensemen, 3 goalies, because this is what the roster is going to look like. And we will start with, like, not talking a lot about the players that are sure shot, and then we will start debating where we don't have the same players. And now, without further ado, Daph, I think we can both say that a certain Sidney Crosby is on our roster and probably wearing a big C on the left of his chest.
Of course. He has to.
Especially with the start of a season he has.
If you want me to watch this, if they're not giving the captainship to Sidney Crosby, I'm not even considering watching a game.
Anyways, McDavid won't accept the C. McKinnon won't accept the C.
No.
I don't see who would be like, yeah, sure, I'll take it. Anyways, and you know what? Let's get it out of the way. McDavid and McKinnon are there too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Unless if any of those players we're mentioning, of course, if they're injured, they won't be there. But we're talking the idea that they're healthy.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. For me, it's a no-brainer. Also,
I would argue that they are the only 3 players that I am 200% sure they will be there. There are some other players that I am 99% convinced. Like the next one I would say is Braden Point. To me, Braden Point is there. There is absolutely no doubt at center. Even if, because you're probably going to move any one of McDavid, McKinnon, or Crosby to the wing too, because you want more centers than not. So Braden Point to me is the next one in line.
Yeah, and for me also, Brad Marchand is a no-brainer.
Oh, that's interesting because I have him. And as I was putting him, I was like, is he still that much of a no-brainer?
I feel like the character of this guy.
Yeah.
It's just you need talent, you need pure skills, but you need character as Brad Marchand has.
Yeah. The thing is, Brad Marchand, a proven point getter in his heyday, also can be a very good fourth line player. And this is something we'll talk about a bit down. Well, you know what? Let's do it right away. To me, here's the thing I don't want to see, particularly for next year, 2026, but even for this tournament. There were some ramble. I think it's Elliot Friedman on the 32 Thoughts that said that Team Canada's official are considering Tom Wilson for the tournament. I mean, absolutely no disrespect to Tom Wilson. I think that at what he does, he's one of the best in the league. But this is overthinking things. This is 2006 all over again. So in 2006, for you youthster out there, Team Canada in Torino, in Italy, left off the team rookie Sidney Crosby, second-year player Eric Stahl, who were both on pace for 100 points those year, because they were like, yeah, well, those guys are offensive player. We need third and fourth line players. We're going to bring Chris Draper. No disrespect to Chris Draper, but those type of players, and it was a total failure. 2006 was, for me, the worst failure of Canadian men's Olympic hockey with NHL players there. Don't overthink it. If you take a guy like Brad Marchand and you tell him, hey, you're going to be a fourth line player for us, you're going to do this and this and this.
Yeah.
He's a better player than a regular guy who does that role. And he's going to be, I'm all in for a gold medal. I am all in for my country. I am all in. Take a player like this, just like you did with Jonathan Toews, just like when you did that completely amazing Corey Perry, Ryan Getzlaf, Eric Stahl line in 2010. And I think they might have been line 2 in 2014. Take those players, give them a role. They're going to be more than happy. And with all the, like, for instance, one of my favorite player, Philippe Danault. I love the guy. But if you ask somebody else, like if you ask a better centerman to be the third line center, he's probably going to be like, yeah, sure. Like Jonathan Toews back in the day, Patrice Bergeron, whatever.
Yeah.
He's going to be better at it.
So you have a lot of talent. For me, Tom Wilson, no disrespect to the guy, as you said, but he's not in. For my part, he's not there.
Yeah. So we both have Brad Marchand. Did you have Braden Point on your line?
Yeah. I have Braden Point. I also have Mitch Marner.
Yep, he was the next one I was going to mention. Mitch Marner, to me, has to be there on one of the first two lines in an offensive winger role.
Yeah. You cannot let this. No. For me, it's also kind of the 99% kind of guy.
And then to me is where it already gets interesting, because from here now on, I think we can start disagreeing and have valid argument for whoever. I'm going to say you can't left off Sam Reinhart with the way he had a season last year and the start of the year. So Sam Reinhart is on my lineup. You can't leave the guy off.
And you can debate maybe, is Sam Reinhart or Sam Bennett?
Reinhart. For the reasons that I love Sam Bennett. I freaking love Sam Bennett. Sam Bennett is the type of player I would want to be if I played in the NHL. But I prefer to bring in Sam Reinhart. Do you have Sam Bennett on your lineup?
No, but I was wondering.
Yeah, it's a good. I'm not going to be surprised if he's there. He's he needs to be considered.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to surprise you with that. With this one, but for me, I would put Alexis Lafrenière.
Oh wow, I have him too. I have him too. Yeah, no, I have him.
He has been left in some of the preview roster. I was surprised. I was like, he wasn't there. And for me, the kind of playoff that he had last year and the kind of the beginning of the season that he had, let's give him a chance. And he has the experience with the World Juniors.
Oh, he was amazing in the last one.
Yeah, and I feel like it could be good for him. If we think about how can we be hyped about this tournament, is maybe get some experience to those kind of guys. Well, I want to see Lafrenière there.
You know what? I have him, and we're going to do lines in a minute, but I'm going to tell you right away. I have him on a kids line. I have Laffy, I have Wyatt Johnson, and I have Connor Bedard. Let's do a kids line. I love kids line. Those type of tournaments need a kids line. If you don't have a kids line, this is not a Team Canada I can get behind. I'm sorry. I need a kids line. And to me, that kids line, Lafrenière, Johnson, Ryan, Bedard.
I love it. But I thought you would let him out. I thought you would left Connor Bedard out.
Nah, let's bring the kid in.
Too
because
sure.
To me, here's the thing. There is absolutely no doubt in a year from now, he's good enough to be there in the Olympics. So let's put him in right away. Let's give him the experience. That's like, for some, we're going to talk about other positions later. For some position, I'm not that all in on the, well, this is kind of going to be a preview to the roster for next year. But at some position, yep, let's bring, like, it's an exhibition tournament.
Yeah.
You know? So let's bring Bedard in. Do you have him in?
Yeah, I have him in.
Did you have Wyatt Johnson in?
No, and I'm surprised. I want to know why you have him.
Oh, he's amazing. He is completely amazing. Number one. Because I was thinking, okay, who's centering that line? Like that kid's line. I have Laffy on the left. I have Bedard on the right, because to me in that type of tournament, maybe not already as a centerman. And I was like, let's bring in freaking Wyatt Johnson. Let's bring the man. And I think this line steals Canada's heart in a tournament. Probably scores a few big goals here and there.
Yeah.
Brings energy, the beauty of youth. I want this. I'm so excited. I'm hyping myself up for this tournament.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm doing this. I hate it. Damn you, Gary Bettman.
It's like I encourage people that are not hyped about it to do their roster. Maybe
it gets you hyped. Like, I was having way too much fun doing this. So we still have, I still have 3 players to go. We have a first disagreement on Wyatt Johnston. So you still have 4 players to go. You had Bedard and Lafrenière, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, instead of Wyatt Johnston, tell me a player you have that I might not have.
I'm bringing Steven Stamkos.
Oh, I left Stammer time off, and it pains me to leave Stammer off. I'm a Stammer guy.
Him? Yeah.
I think I was salty because I had him in my pool to start the season.
Oh,
I trusted him. I trusted him. He's a number 91, just like me. I love the man. I've always been a big Stammer guy. I feel like at this point in time, there are better options than Steven Stamkos. But
like what?
Well, I have Mark Stone. Do you have Mark Stone on your lineup?
Yeah, I have Mark.
To me, actually, we didn't mention him with the no-brainers, but a healthy Mark Stone is a no-brainer. He's tearing it up right now. Healthy Mark Stone is absolutely a no-brainer. Here's where, and you know what? Here's where I could be convinced that I was wrong on Steven Stamkos, is I decided to bring Zach Hyman. But I could easily be convinced to leave off Zach Hyman for Stammer time.
Okay, me too. I have Zach Hyman.
Oh, wow.
I was wondering, like, Nugent Hopkins or Hyman. I left Nugent Hopkins out.
Yeah. Well, here's Nugent Hopkins, to me, is that type of player who is in the second category we talked about earlier, a great player that I love. But when you're composing a Team Canada roster for best on best, like, I would rather bring, he's an amazing two-way centerman, but I would prefer to bring somebody, I think, who's a better overall player and that I could put in that role. Because let's be real, Zach Hyman plays for the very good Edmonton Oilers. Some players don't benefit from the same type of chemistry and doesn't have the same talent around them.
Yeah.
And one of those guys, and this is totally a homer pick, but I'm bringing in Nick Suzuki as a 13th forward.
For real?
Yeah. Bring sick Nick.
And we are leaving John Tavares out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, to me, no doubt. Absolutely no doubt.
Me too. His years are, I'm sorry about that, but way past. Like, he has experience and everything, but he's not hyped for it too. Like, I don't feel like he's hyped about hockey. I don't know. I'm not bringing in.
Really? Well, that's an interesting take. So, of course, we both have Sidney Crosby, Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon, Mitch Marner, Braden Point. Did you have Zach Hyman on?
Yeah.
Brad Marchand, Mark Stone, Alexis Lafrenière, Connor Bedard, Sam Reinhart. You have Steven Stamkos, and who was your last forward?
Ata.
Was it Nick Suzuki?
No, I think I was complete.
Because I have Wyatt Johnson, you have Stammer, and my last forward that you may not have is Nick Suzuki.
Oh, it was Mark Scheifele.
Oh, you're bringing. Oh, that's a good pick. That's a very good pick.
Yeah.
See, actually, like I could see Suzuki be left out, and bring Mark Scheifele.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For me, Mark Scheifele
yeah.
is behind Nick Suzuki for the way he plays, like maybe a little bit harder than Suzuki does.
It's a
And
different brand of hockey, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need. Here's the thing. Like we talked about Tom Wilson early on. I'm not against bringing hard-nosed player, but I feel like you can bring more talented hard-nosed player. And of course, you probably know that Mark Scheifele, since the bubble playoffs in the All-Canadian division, is not the most welcome player in Montreal after that suspension, after that hit on Jake Evans.
Yeah.
But objectively, he is an amazing player, and I think he has his place there. You know what? Doing this exercise, I'm kind of concerned about Team Canada's depth. I don't think Team Canada's is as good, not just because of goaltending. We talk a lot about goaltending, but not just because of goaltending. I don't think this team is as good as 2002, 2010, and 2014. But doing this, it's actually a very, at least at forward, it's a very good team.
Yeah, but it's on the defensive side. I'm worried about the depth.
Just before we go to defense, I don't think it will happen. Okay, I don't think it will happen. But you know what would be the thing that would get me the most hype for this tournament? That would make me go from, yeah, if I have nothing to do on Saturday in February, I'm not skiing or whatever, I will watch, to, yeah, no, you know what? I'm skipping skiing today. I'm watching this.
What is it?
With the amount of centermen you're bringing, Crosby, McKinnon, McDavid, Point, Suzuki in my case, Scheifele in your case, Wyatt Johnson, Steven Stan, pick your poison. Put whoever you want at center. You're going to have to take at least one, if not two centermen and put them on the wings, which is fine. I want to see, at least for one game, please, just for one game, a period, Crosby, McDavid, and McKinnon together.
Yeah.
I need it. I think you put Crosby at center, McDavid on the left wing, McKinnon on the right, or you can do some sort of hybrid because Crosby is better in the face-off circle than McDavid. Crosby takes the face-off, and during play, McDavid kind of acts a bit more like this. I don't care.
Let's treat ourselves.
Please, for the love of God.
Yeah.
Please. We need... I'm going to go further than this. We, hockey fans, we have been robbed for almost 10 years now of best-on-best international action. We deserve this. We deserve it. We have been patient. We have paid our dues. We deserve a line of McDavid, Crosby, McKinnon. There, I said it.
Clip this, Kev, and send it to Gary Bettman, please, right away.
We deserve it. We deserve it.
No, but let's treat ourselves for a minute.
Absolutely.
We have those beautiful hockey players. Let's make them play together. I'm all about it.
Okay. Okay, on defense, honestly, I have one guy that I think is 200% sure, and it's Kel McCarr. Other than that, you can convince me of a lot of players.
Yeah, that's my point. Like, it's gonna be interesting. Okay, I'm gonna go with my 7th pick. But
already
but I just I don't know if you have him in your roster, and I really need to know if we're on the same line.
Same page? Okay.
On the same page, yeah, same lane, whatever. Drew Doughty. For me, he's there.
I don't think he's gonna be available though. From his, I didn't even consider him because I think he's not back until. I'm gonna have to check the. Maybe he can.
Yeah, I think he was maybe getting back from.
Nah, I don't think he'll be back in time. Honestly,
I thought he would be back kind of December or something.
Nah, he was. He had a surgery. So, the thing is, there is no official timeline, but he's being evaluated every month. But the discourse was he's gonna miss most of the season, and because he hasn't played at all, I don't think he's ready in time. I don't think he's ready in time. He would have been there though. He would definitely. I'm a big Doughty guy. He would have been there just because,
the 7th defenseman.
Yeah, but I don't think he's ready.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he's not. Maybe next year. I hope he is, but not for this one.
Too bad. Okay, so if Like if I'm being real there with Kel McCarr, I would put Devin Taves.
Exactly.
For
You
me, it's
just
the
do it.
first line. Yeah,
Yeah, you just
the
do it.
first pair.
Yeah, you just bring him. And you know what? I'm doing two existing duo. I'm bringing in the Vegas Golden Knights duo of Shea Theodore and Alex Pietrangelo.
Oh, me too. It was my third pair.
I think it's my second pair. I love both of these guys, particularly Theodore. I love both of these guys. And this is where it gets complicated.
So do you get Morgan Riley?
Absolutely not. I didn't even consider it, to be honest.
I saw that and I was like, oh, it didn't cross my mind.
Well, I hope I'm not persona non grata in Toronto now. I didn't even consider it.
No, me too. I saw that in one of the preview roster and was like, oh, really? No.
Here's the thing. On defense, I don't have the same discourse as I have on offense. If Morgan Riley is not there to bring offense, a first pass, first unit power play, why do you have it? I prefer some other options.
Okay, do you have Evan Bouchard?
You know what? I said no to Evan Bouchard because I
Ooh.
prefer Noah Dobson. Because I believe that if you interchange those two players, that if Noah Dobson is on the Edmonton Oilers, and if Noah Dobson is on the Edmonton Oilers and Evan Bouchard on the Islanders, that Noah Dobson is a better hockey player. Yes, Evan Bouchard's slap shot is amazing, but beyond that, I prefer the all-around game of Noah Dobson. It's a very thin line. I don't think Noah Dobson's going to be there. I think it's going to be Bouchard, but I'm not bringing Evan Bouchard. I am bringing in Noah Dobson and Josh Morrissey.
Ooh, I like it. I don't know why I didn't thought about Morrissey.
Oh, really?
That's a good option.
And to complete my seventh spot is actually Mackenzie Weegar. And this is where, too, I was like, Weegar or Bouchard? And I was like, you know what? As a 7D, I'm going to, again, take a guy who I feel is more reliable in more situations in Mackenzie Weegar than Evan Bouchard.
Yeah, that makes sense. I thought about, so I put Owen Power.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. That is very interesting.
I feel like with another team.
Bringing in a kid there.
Yeah.
I
want to see, yeah.
I don't hate it.
I want to see a kid.
Would probably not get big minutes, but you know what? In the spirit of bringing a kids line, why not bring, a younger D?
Yeah.
Who, that is a cool pick. That is a very good pick, actually.
Yeah, Owen Power. So for me, yeah.
I like it.
So, and I'm still living in my Delulu world where Drew Doughty can be there.
Well, you know what? The guy's a beauty. Bring him on as an assistant coach.
But Mackenzie Weegar would be a good pick.
Yeah. I'm a big Weegar guy. I think I feel like he's an underrated defenseman.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because I got laughed at when I drafted him in my pool a few years ago, and I think it was his first real offensive season, something like this. So there are people, there are players like this who we have a soft spot for many reasons. You talked about the additional reason why you particularly like Crosby. Yeah, I drafted him in 2021, the year before 2021. Yeah. So he had 36 points in 54 games that year. Before that, his best season was 18 and 45. So all my friends were like, the heck is that pick? I was like, ha ha.
All gotcha there.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, so but for the goalies, Max.
This is where it gets interesting. And I hate it. I hate it because to me, this guy is Brad Marchand goalie. The goalie version of Brad Marchand. Jordan Bennington's the man right now. I'm sorry. He's the man right now. He's the guy. Yeah. He's the safe pick. He's the safest pick.
Safest pick there. For me, I also have Sam Montembeault.
Oh, you put him there. Oh, wow.
I will complete with Adin Hill.
Yeah, I have Hayden Hill. There. He has won a cup. He was having a very good season last year until he became injury plagued. And so far to start the year, Adin Hill is not having a good start to the season, despite the Golden Knights having a good start. He's winning his games. Of course, he plays for the Golden Knights. but he's not having personally a good start of his season. But I'm gonna bring. This is what gets him the edge over Montembeault, is that he has proven that he can win in that. In the situation, unfortunately, Montembeault is hit or miss so far this year. He's had very good games followed by very bad games, which is the total opposite from last year. Last year, that was made him a good goalie, is that he was like really
Consistency.
consistent, while not. I mean, he's no Connor Hellebuck, let's be real, but he was consistent. He was really bringing it game in, game out, and so far this year it's the opposite. He's playing like a roller coaster. I do not have Samuel Montembeault. For
No.
me, no, and here's why. You're gonna see where I'm going with this. You're gonna recognize me.
By saying.
For the third goalie position, I'm absolutely not buying the crap of let's bring in the most people that will be back for the Olympics. We're talking third goalie here, people. No minutes, probably, especially not in the Olympics. When's the last time Canada has used in best on best? It's three goalies. I think maybe they used the three of Brodeur, Belfort, and Joseph in 02, but I'm not sure if they used Belfort. They used Joseph to start the tournament. I remember that because the coach was the late Pat Quinn. May he rest in peace. But it was a big talking point back in the days, because people were like, you're starting Joseph because he's your own goalie. You should start Brodeur. You're starting Joseph because he's your guy.
Especially
and it was a
in
disaster.
02.
Yeah, and Brodeur took over. But I think I remember Belfort having some minutes in that tournament, but maybe I'm completely wrong here. Anyways, all this to say, you don't use a third goalie. He's there as an insurance policy. I was gonna say, can you name the third goalies? I can, actually. It was Mike Smith in 2014, and it was Fleury in 2010. So there, you can. I'm not sure in 2006. In 2006, it was Luongo and Brodeur, but who was the third guy in 2006? Oh, that would be a good trivia. I don't remember who was the third guy in 2006. Was
If
it
you
still
know
Belfort?
people in the comments.
Oh, I'm so mad at myself here. Wow. Anyways, you know what?
Disappointed.
It's an exhibition tournament. It's for the love of the game first, as a tribute to a stellar career, to lighten the room up. You bring in Marc-André Fleury as your third goalie. Bring the man. Let's put a smile on those faces. Just bring and you know what? I don't even exclude that much that he has minutes, because let's be real. Canada's depth right now at goalie freaking sucks.
That's what I was going to say. Like he wouldn't be that bad for like the second pick, you know?
Honestly, I think right now, I'm going top of my head, I would rank Canada as the fifth nation in the world right now in goaltending. Russia or United States is number one. Obviously, Russia is not in that four-nation face-off, but for argument's sake, Russia has Andrei Vasilevsky, Igor Shesterkin, Sorokin, Sergei Bobrovsky. I mean, one day maybe Askarov gets in there. Russia has goalies. Team USA has Connor Hellebuck, Jake Ottinger, Jeremy Swayman, and I'm probably even forgetting somebody here, but they have more. Like, those three goalies can be number one goalie. You know what? I feel like I'm adding Finland to that lineup.
Yeah.
Before, with Jussi Saros and Linus Ullmark. And right now, maybe is Sweden still ahead? Because obviously when they had Henrik. Oh, I'm sorry, I said Linus Ullmark. Linus Ullmark's Swedish. Well, Linus Ullmark and Jakob Markström are really good goalies. For Finland, I'm in Jussi Saros and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, who is young, but is an interesting goalie. There are four nations I'm more comfortable with their number one goalie than Team Canada, and there are three of them that I'm more confident with their overall depth than Team Canada. So however you want to see it, there's only one goalie in the gold medal game, so I'm going to say Canada's fifth right now in goaltending, which sucks.
Oh, yeah. It used to be our people there.
Yeah, and especially here in Quebec.
Yeah, and it's going to show up, like, I feel in those performances or in the Olympics. Like, we need you need goaltending to win. But I love the fact that either of us put Stuart Skinner. He's in everyone's roster. Like,
poor Stuart.
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, no disrespect. I'm not the biggest Stuart Skinner fan.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna be mad if he's there, but and you know
everyone
what? I would actually at the start of the season, I would have had Montembeault ahead of either Hill or Skinner. Right now, I think I would have Skinner ahead of Montembeault.
I'm curious with a good defense in front of him. Like I feel like Monty could be more consistent.
Yeah. You know what I hope? I hope that not this tournament, not the Four Nations, but the Olympics next year. I hope the Olympics next year will how do I say this? Kind of like not redeem, it's not the right term, but in retrospective, give more respect to Carey Price's performance in 2014. Carey Price in 2014 gave less than a goal per game. Let me repeat that. Less than a goal per game. And Carey Price haters for 10 years are like, anybody would have done this behind Team Canada. Nobody ever did this behind Team Canada. Not Brodeur, not Luongo, nobody. He did it. He was part of the team. How is it that when we're talking Sidney Crosby, we add the international accolades to the resume, and for goalies, anybody would have done that behind that team? Yeah, anybody could have scored 5 goals with all those wingers. No, they don't know. No. So I kind of hope, I mean, I realize that what I'm saying is I kind of hope the goalies fail, which is not what I want, of course. But just, in retrospective, like, just give the man his flowers for what he did that tournament in 2014. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, he was, like, just take a look at what he did with the Montreal Canadiens in 2021. Like, he's a big difference maker. Yeah, but he's just, he's this guy. And if you ever doubt it, he's a difference maker, people.
You know what? Like, I did the joke the other day. There is a part of me that wouldn't even be surprised if Team Canada would be like, hey, Carey, about your knee, could it sustain like just one small tournament? Just curious. One tournament. Could you do it?
Imagine if he was there. Like, I thought maybe when you were talking about the third goalie not having any minutes, I was like, oh, he's going to pull off a Carey Price there.
But you know what?
He could.
Here's what's interesting. Let's be 100% real. If Carey Price was still healthy and had stayed in Montreal these past few years, his stats would have gone down. Like, not as poorly as what has happened, but the quality of the defense ahead is too bad. So I would have been so curious if he would have been brought on out of respect as a second or third goalie, and then maybe he gets in the tournament. He plays amazingly well because he's Carey Price, and when you give him a good defense, the guy is stellar. Like, but anyways, let's not get into this. He's not there. He's happily semi-retired in British Columbia. Good on you, Carey. Unfortunately, there are no Carey Price, no Martin Brodeur, no Robert Luongo, no Patrick Roy, not even Eddie Belfour for Team Canada this year. All right, this is our Team Canada. Let us know yours in the comment. Let us know who got disrespected by us here. Who are we too high on? Feel free to engage in the discourse in the comment section on YouTube. If you are listening in audio format, come at us on X, Instagram, whatever. We also have an email address, hyperdrivehockey@gmail.com. I would gladly come back on your emails in the next episode regarding this Team Canada's roster. Now let's get back to NHL action. Let's go coast to coast. I'm not even sure where to begin, Daph. And you know what? We have Canadian on Canadian action on Tuesday night. Canadian versus Flames. So let's start there because those two teams are not in a good position right now. Yeah. We have the Montreal Canadiens on a 3-game losing streak again. The Calgary Flames finally put an end to their own losing streak. They still have only 1 loss in 6 games. For people like me who look at betting odds and stuff like that, know that personally at home against a Calgary Flames that is not particularly good, I thought this might be the first game of the season the Montreal Canadiens were going to be favored in. They are not. They're neglected. The Montreal Canadiens have been neglected in every single game so far this season. And to me, here's the thing. The Montreal Canadiens brought in Marc Bureau. For those who don't remember, the journeyman, he was a former face-off specialist in the NHL. They brought him in to work at practice to do some drills with the centermen who have all been sub 50% so far this season. That includes Christian Dvorak and Jake Evans, who are normally very good in the face of circles. But should they consider more help behind the bench is the big question for me. Because Pierre Lebrun said on French Sport Radio this week that the word around the league in organizations, in administration, hockey operation, is that the Habs neglected how little experience they have behind the bench. And is it time for Martin St. Louis to put a bit of pride on the side and bring more help? He did on the faceoffs. And that is good. I'm happy to see this. This is one of the... I had personally identified Guy Carbonneau just because he's freaking Guy Carbonneau. But you know what? Bring anybody you want. That's good. I'm happy to see this.
For the first time, Guy Carbonneau could have said, like, I cannot play like he did when he was the coach of the Montreal Canadiens. I cannot play instead of my players. Man. Absolutely. Like, he could have gone to the ice and do something for this team. Whatever. But Martin St. Louis did say it as well. Like, he has a team in transition, and he is also in transition as well. And I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting as a statement, because you're right. And it has been the word around this team for the past 2 weeks, I feel. Maybe we need more experience. What about, and this was something that was asked to the trainer, ex-trainer of the goalies, Stephen Waite. Why don't we bring a Carey Price more often? You know, to just be around the environment, to just like be around the goalies. And he was like, I feel like he will be more than happy to do so, but he was never asked. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. So yeah, maybe we have something there that, oh, we can ask for help. And when like we can have a lot of people that are just like as consultants are going to be helping us, but like they still have a lot of growing to do. And if you need to identify what's not working and find solutions, because this is the year that people needs to see a kind of results.
Yeah, well, right now they're on the brink of regression. And this is something that has been coming back a lot.
Yeah, and for me, it's what's the most alarming right now. So maybe it's a very good solution, but I want to see them like stay the course. Yes, like the result are not that worthy right now. For me, it's not that kind of speech that you need to have this year. And everybody knew that people wanted more result. And as you said, like for me, it's regression right now. We need to find solutions. We really need to find solutions.
And the Calgary Flames are seeing the Montreal Canadiens as a potential bounce back game because they have scored more than 2 goals once in their last 4 games. That was the 3-0 win against the New Jersey Devils. Everybody's going to see Montreal and go, yep, this is where we can get going offensively. So Montreal needs to take this as a challenge because Calgary is going to want to burn the barn down on Tuesday night.
Do you want to say I told you so?
Oh,
when you look at...
I do. I said it last episode. I hate to say I told you so, but F yeah. I told you so. No, but it's an important trip for the Flames. 3-game trip here in the East. Montreal first, Boston then on Thursday, and it all comes to an end Saturday against the Buffalo Sabres. It's an interesting trip because the Canadiens and Sabres are a team the Flames can beat. The Boston Bruins bounced back this weekend, but there was still a bit of drama because Pasta was a no-show in the third period. And Jim Montgomery said that it was a coach's decision, but the Bruins might be on their way back. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the Flames can do in this three-game trip.
Yeah.
All right, now let's go in Toronto, where the Maple Leafs, once the team offensively, like literally under Sheldon Keefe, who took over the Toronto Maple Leafs on November 20th, 2019. The Toronto Maple Leafs were tied with the Colorado Avalanche with 3.53 goals scored per game. That was number 1 in the league. So far this year, they are 16th in goals scored per game at 3. They are 31st in power play. Auston Matthews is on pace for only a 30-goal season. The Leafs will be fine, I think. But how patient can the fan base be? Because, Daph, there is a parallel to be made with the Washington Capitals.
Interesting.
So the Washington Capitals from 2012 to 2017 were the second best team in the league for goals scored per game at 2.97, which shows how crazily the game has evolved in the past 10 years. At 2.97,
crazy. What?
Second in the league.
That is crazy.
They were behind the Pittsburgh Penguins, and as I just said, the Maple Leafs right now at 3 goals per game are 16. In 17-18, when they finally won the Cup, they had dropped to 9th place that year in goals scored per game. But not in his first season. But finally, Barry Trotz showed the team the virtue of playing a tighter game and what it can do. So right now, I think the Maple Leafs might finally be teenagers and looking for that identity. Right now, it's been a roller coaster to start the year. But will it be this year? Will it be next year? Craig Berube has experience with a team that doesn't have a good start to the season, of course, with the 2019 St. Louis Blues, bringing them to the Cup. There will be growing pains. Right now, we are starting to see a bit of frustration. I think Toronto fans are willing to be patient, but this is not the same identity. And so far, if it had led to direct result as we thought it would be good, but it's not the case right now.
Yeah, and do you feel like they need to find their identity with their new coach? Because I feel it's kind 100%. Of like a heck of a change for them.
Yeah.
So for me, it's kind of, you need to adjust, but you need consistency. If we look at the same time of the last season, they were also 6-5-2. Is this a failure to progress?
I don't know.
It is just we need time to adjust and adapt? Changes
take time. That's my take on this. Changes take time. I'm a bit concerned about Auston Matthews. Not that much yet. What concerns me a bit is that and Kevin and I talked about it on the last episode. You have Will Nylander, who is, firing on all cylinders, who is out there saying, I want more. And the coach who is like, well, he's going to get more if I see enough and all. And he's your best player. What are you like? I don't know. I'm not going to say that it's like.
And he's also your captain this year. And for
Matthews,
me,
Matthews,
yeah. And for me, it changes a bit. Like, you need to demonstrate and just show by, I don't know, you need to show your team that you're there, you're fully there. And it's not because he doesn't have the result that we want, that we're not seeing this. This is not what I'm saying. But yeah, the concern is, as the leader of this team, maybe it's kind of concerning. Not too much because it's early in the season, but yeah, it's giving the tone,
The thing with Auston Matthews as a captain, I feel like there are similarities with Nick Suzuki. What I mean by this is they're not, Matthews is a bit exuberant in personality and fashion and stuff like this, but he's not a fairy guy. What I mean, Nick Suzuki is not either. So when push comes to shove, some people see this as a lack of leadership. I do not personally, but some people see this as a lack of leadership, a lack of engagement. We're in the first few games of Auston Matthews as a captain, so let's see how he grows as a leader, as an official leader more, if I may say.
And if the Maple Leafs are teenagers, I mean, with Craig Berube, this is not gentle parenting. So he's not going to have the patience.
Yeah.
And the fans do not have the patience also. So
the Leafs are will hunting. You see the potential. You just want to tap into that potential. Although contrary to Will Hunting, it is their fault. So, yeah. Anyways, the Ottawa Senators, last year they were 8-7 after a trip in Sweden. And this year they are 8-7. The crazy thing is the Ottawa Senators, like you look at the standing and you look at the teams where they are in the standing, they have a very good goal differential. They just need to learn to win tight game. To me, this is what needs to happen. They need to learn to win tight games.
And when we talked about them in last Tuesday, you know, Max, that was what I was saying is like they're learning, you know, this is a learning curve. And for me, they need to just adjust some kind of little elements in their game. And yeah, you're absolutely right. Is this for the Senators this year? Is this for me same but different? You know, in the past, like they have had some good stretches like they have now, but like they have fooled us a little bit. And now can it be this different maybe this time around? I would love to see them progress in this direction. I would like to be different this time. I feel like there are like some signs that prove us that it would be different. It's kind of like when you had bad relationships and you've been disappointed over and over again, and now you're with a new guy and you're like, oh, is this gonna be different this time around?
Okay.
And you have little signs that show, you know, the green flags. Okay. And for me, the green flags for the Senators is they have maybe structural improvements in their game. They have also like talented young core players that have maybe reached a new level of maturity. But I really like how they played against the Kraken on Saturday after losing to the Rangers, a game that they could have won. And maybe is that what makes you said that they need to learn to win tight games? For me, how they replied on Saturday, they had a back-to-back against a rested team, which was the Kraken. And they could have been vulnerable, but no, they took this game on, they took charge, they scored early on, they played hard, they grinded out this win. And for me, these are the green flags that are making me say that it's same, but different. And this time around, we can improve a little bit. And we're not going to be disappointed.
Yeah. We talked about the Leafs being teenagers. The Ottawa Senators, I feel, have been teenagers for years.
Yeah.
I don't know if in English they have the same word, but in French we say adolescent, which is a combination of adult and
this
teenager.
Is what I'm gonna say.
So I guess the term would be teen adult. I don't know. Let us know in the comment if you have a similar expression. As we are recording this podcast, we talked about the Leafs, but as we are recording the podcast on Tuesday morning, the Toronto Maple Leafs just announced that Auston Matthews is injured. He will miss Tuesday night's game, and he will be reevaluated on a day-to-day basis. It's an upper body injury. Well, does this explain that? Is this why the Toronto superstar is having a slow start to the season? We will wait and see.
We will wait and see. I'm curious to know your input. Like the Jets are the Jets. The Jets are jetting.
The naysayers were saying that they had not beaten a lot of good teams to start the year, which is true. I guess we can say that they did not have the toughest start to a season of any NHL teams. With that being said, give the Jets their respect. They are beating you. It doesn't matter how. Even on a night where Connor Hellebuck gives 6 goals, one of them who shouldn't have counted according to a lot of people. I don't think it should have counted. The team won, so it's all good. Puck don't lie. The Jets won, but I understand that the league pointed out to. I don't remember the article of the rule, which is a bit different regarding rebounds, that you can push for a rebound, and that he was pushed in the crease and all that. But I don't think. To me, Connor Hellebuck was not given a chance to make a save, and it was because of an interference from a Lightning player. Like I said, the Jets won. To me, it's all good. But they win no matter what. They find ways to beat you. They can beat you 7-6, apparently. but they mostly beat you 2-1. And this is what I love about the Jets so far this year.
You know, one thing that is concerning me, Max, and I don't have anything to add to what you said. I think that this team finds way to just win no matter what. And we talked about it last week. But for me, what's concerning is they don't have the assistants. Where are you people in Winnipeg? Your team is playing very good. But should we be worried about the kind of assistance that they have in their home games? Because it's been concerning. Last year, I feel it was Chris Johnson that broke a story about it. And yeah, like I feel they had 13. If I'm wrong, let's correct me. But I want to just like look at the numbers. Yeah, it was 13,000.
13,000? The attendance?
Yeah, the attendance.
Yeah.
Were
well,
like
Graham
really low
Graham Mossiman on Game Over Network said, blame the Blue Bomber. You know what? Maybe. I don't know. It is disappointing, though. It is very disappointing. You know, you don't have the excuse in Winnipeg as you have in Ottawa about the difficulty of access to the arena. You know what? Let's actually wait and see after the CFL season's over. This would be the way I see it personally.
Okay.
I kind of agree with Graham on this.
Okay.
Let's blame the freaking Blue Bombers.
Let's wait and see. But
we'll
I'm
get
like
beaten by the Montreal Alouettes in the Grey Cup final.
People should be hyped there. And you know, like we talked a lot about their fans. Like they're good fans out there in Winnipeg. But where are you when your team is winning like that? I know it's the beginning of the season and maybe like people are not hyped. But for me, it's kind of it was just surprising. Yeah.
You should really,
it was just surprising.
Just when we thought the Edmonton Oilers were going to be more than fine without Connor McDavid because Batman Leon Draisaitl seemed to have arrived with 3 goals and 3 assists in 2 games, well, they fall flat to the New Jersey Devils, 3-0. The good news is that Connor McDavid is back on his skates. The good news is that Connor McDavid says he is ahead of schedule in his rehabilitation. I hope the Edmonton Oilers keep on winning because the more they keep on winning, the less pressure there is on Connor McDavid to rush a comeback. And I hope that yesterday against the Devils for the Edmonton Oilers, a very good New Jersey Devils team, second shutout of the season for Jake Allen. What the heck is going on here? Well, Jake Allen was always better. He's a number 2 goalie. The less he plays, the better he is. The best goalies are those who can do it night in, night out. A number 2 goalie can do it on a small sample. It's tougher on a bigger sample. I hope it was just a bump in the road and that the Oilers can keep on, you know, winning 2, winning 3, losing 1, winning 2, winning 3, losing 1 without Connor, not to rush him back. I feel like this part of the season is crucial for them. If they can allow McDavid to fully rest and get back healthy, it will be good for them.
I was wondering, like, before the yesterday game, I was like, has losing McDavid woken up the Oilers? Because finally, I would want to see the impact players playing to their full capabilities. And I was like, oh, okay. The 5-1 win against the Predators, the 4-2 wins against the Flames. You would tell me these are not really hot team right now. Okay. Good, fine. But I was like, okay, Draisaitl is showing up. He's dragging the team on his shoulders. As you said, he's Batman, 3 goals, 6 points in 2 games. Zach Hyman finally found the back of the net. I was like, oh, maybe this was a good thing for the Oilers. As you said, not putting too much pressure on McDavid's shoulders and just having a time or the occasion for the other players to show up. And I was like, oh, maybe it's a blessing in disguise, as we discussed previously last week. But I'm not convinced anymore.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't like what I saw yesterday.
Well, I agree. Jake Allen had a very good game. The Devils is a good team. Yeah, it's going to be interesting because on Wednesday night they're playing the Golden Knights at home. The Vegas Golden Knights on the road are not the Vegas Golden Knights at home. They're a different team, so you have to beat Vegas. And then on Saturday, I'm gonna. I want to see those two games. I want to see two wins by the Edmonton Oilers on Wednesday and Saturday night.
I'm
Saturday's
looking
against the Vancouver
forward
Canucks, but
for the game against the Knights.
yeah, it's going to
This
be
was
very
the
interesting.
target for me. Yeah.
Going to be very interesting. And the Vancouver Canucks, the motto, well, Drake's motto is you only live once. The Vancouver Canucks motto seems to be it's not pretty, but it gets the job done. Because that really is the Vancouver Canucks start of a season so far. In terms of point, they're not that far from last year. But I feel like this broken clock right now, they are there. They're in third position in the Pacific. They're winning their games, have their games, but they're losing most of them in OT. It's not pretty. They're winning. I do not know what to do with this team. It feels like the atmosphere surrounding the team is not at an all-time high, but the fact that they're winning, like, it's kind of you look at something, you can see it's cracking, but you know what? Right now it's working, so we're not gonna do anything. I hope they fix the cracks before it breaks, because I always look at the team and I'm like, it feels like it's about to break down, and it's not.
Yeah, and as we discussed, like they're concerned about their consistency. Like they're a team that has been resilient and resourceful, but it cannot work on an 82 game season. It's not gonna work. Like, yeah, and I feel like they're gonna have a little downfall for like, but maybe that could be good for them, like having a little downfall where they lose like a 4 or 5 game streak. Maybe could be, it could shaken up things.
That's interesting. That's interesting to see. Rick Takia's not going to let that. It's not going to allow that.
No.
And meanwhile, we're still searching for Elias Peterson. I do not want to slap on the head of Elias Peterson. I actually really like the guy. Before we play a little game of will it happen, won't it happen, let's go outside the border because we have some big PWHL news to share with you guys. A mere few days after we talked about the PWHL heading to Quebec City, a game between the Montreal Victoire and the Ottawa Charge, the PWHL announced that they eye 2 expansion teams for 2025, which is amazing. The growth of the game is beautiful. We talked about it a few weeks ago, Daph, about how interesting it will be to see where they choose to go. What to me is amazing is that the PWHL have more than 20 markets that they consider for the expansion. Amazing, 20 markets.
It's huge. It's huge. And I mean, do you feel like, because we're going to just address the situation here, could Quebec, and we talked about it, but could Quebec be a good market? I feel like it could be.
Really? Quebec City. Well, yeah, we talked about it 2 weeks ago.
I would like to revive the rivalry between Montreal and Quebec.
I feel like the right strategy is to expand in market you're not touching yet. I feel like I am more than open to be wrong on this. I feel like going to Calgary and maybe Chicago, maybe Pittsburgh are good strategies. Are they going west? Right now, there is a team in Minnesota, which is actually more Midwest than anything. Like it's in the middle of the continent, but it's West. It would be a Western Conference team if there was a Western Conference. So I feel like I hate to say this. I hate to say this. Of course, I want as many professional sports team in my home province as I can. I feel like this is not the right strategy, though.
Maybe not now, and I can understand why. And I was. They've talked about it to the president of Gestev, which is going to be running the game in the Centre Vidéotron in January, and he basically said that this going to serve as to evaluate if people have interest in having a concession there, a franchise there.
Yeah.
But it's one game. And I would love to see it, being at full capacity, but it's one game. You have to think about a 30-game season. Are people going to show up? I hope so. But as you said, like maybe not now, or maybe when the league's going to grow a little bit. There were two potential candidates in Detroit and Pittsburgh, which were already where the PWHL played their neutral games last season. And they were also looking at Chicago, Denver, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C. And I was like, oh, Detroit is interesting. Chicago is interesting. And I would love maybe Seattle. We talked about Vancouver, but Seattle maybe could be a good option when we talk about developing in the US. Now that they have the Kraken, maybe they have more hockey fans down there, and it can bring, because we're really east right now. We could develop elsewhere, maybe having people from the west side, maybe people from Vancouver also getting down to Seattle to see some games. I don't know. Could be interesting.
What will be interesting to see for me is how long before they go to a non-traditional market. The NHL is filled with non-traditional market now in the Sun Belt, in Southern California, of course, now in Nevada, in Texas. So what will be the first non-traditional market? I think California will be. I feel like just because of the amount of players that are there, the amount of people that are there, the untapped potential, will it be right away? Will it be down the line? I can't wait to see. This will be interesting when they go to a non-traditional market.
But do you feel that they need to have already... I feel like NHL's got to be in this city before the PW. I'm sorry, but I'm like...
That is interesting, because that is a question that I have. Do you try and secure other markets? Do you try and secure a smaller market? Or do you go all in, only the big markets? I don't know. That is very interesting.
I'm going to say this with a little pincette because I don't want to get backlash from this. And I really like women's sport and the hype that they are getting right now. But for me, they need to get more popular. It needs to get more popular as a league to implant in a city. Yeah. And it could go for the other expansion process, maybe. And I was surprised. Were you surprised that it was gonna get expanded as soon as 25, 26? Me too. I thought it was the 2026 and 2027 season.
I thought they were going to wait to see the result of this year.
Yeah, especially in New York and Minnesota.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is why it's telling me, like, you cannot implant a team in a non-explored or non-developed hockey market right now.
That's interesting. Very interesting. Looking forward to this. And you know what? Looking forward to be proven wrong and having a team in Quebec City, baby. Imagine beautiful Videotron Center filled for women's hockey. Oh, yes, sign me on this, please. Will it happen? Won't it happen? Let's get to our little game. Ladies and gentlemen, I have 4 statements for you today, and Kevin Laramie, please feel free to chime in on this because there are some hot ones. Should have brought some chicken wing or something. Well, we could think about it. You have a grocery store, whatever. You have a chicken poultry, whatever. You want to sponsor this segment? We need some chicken wings for this one.
Ooh.
I would love to try the bomb from Hot Ones because I love pain in my life.
Oh, yeah, please. I have 4 statements for you guys. You have to tell me if it will happen or it won't happen. We are 3, so technically we will have a majority on this. And feel free, of course, as usual, to let us know in the comments what you think about those 4 statements. Alex Ovechkin is now 34 goals away from tying Wayne Gretzky's goal record. Last year, the Great 8 scored 31 goals in 79 games. This year, he is on pace for what would be a record-breaking 10th 50-goal season after 11 games, because right now he has 9. He is tied with Mike Bossy and Wayne Gretzky. Unfortunately, he would have that record had the 2019-2020 season had not been cut short. Yeah, it was, I think, at 49 with like 10 games to go or whatever. Will the Great 8 break Gretzky's record this year or not? Daphne.
I would love it to see him breaking at 39 years old, like having a 40-goal season. It would be crazy and amazing. And he's doing very fine, but let's keep it real, people.
No.
He's not going to break it this season.
No.
And I know he's going to, he will want to go for it. And his teammate also. And I'm really curious about like how much his teammate want this with him, want him to score, and maybe help him achieve that this season. But for me, I'm going to keep it real. Maybe because I don't want to be disappointed as a hockey fan, but I really want him to break it this year. But I'm going to keep it real and say it's going to happen next season.
Come on, Kevin.
I'm going to go the same vein as Daphne, saying it's happening, but next year. Because
can't believe this.
To the detriment of victory, they're not going to feed him just to score. And at some point, there's going to be either he scores or the team wins. Those cannot necessarily always be together. They're not necessarily parallel. Sometimes the path to victory is not the same as the path to goals for Ovechkin. So I'm playing a little bit of Grinch. We're getting into Christmas time. And I think it happens next year. If it actually does, the wall comes really fast. And with the lifestyle Ovechkin had over the last few years, maybe the wall comes too quick.
Hell no. Kevin, now I'm disappointed. You hurt my feelings right there. You guys know this about me. Maybe our dear listener don't know it yet, but I'm a man who likes a good story. And what a better story than the Washington Capitals closing the 2024-2025 season on April 17th, 2025 against the Pittsburgh Penguins. And on that night, the Washington Capitals will need a win to get into the playoffs. Not only will the Washington Capitals need a win to get into the playoffs, but the game winner that night will be scored by Mr. Alexander Ovechkin, and it will be the goal that ties the great one. And we will have all summer to wait, baby, for the next one. But on that night in Pittsburgh, Wayne Gretzky will be in attendance as Alex Ovechkin against his bitter rival Sidney Crosby ties the record. It will happen in the last game of the season.
Okay, I see you there. But if we're keeping it real right now, I was going to say that maybe they're not scoring too much goal, but for now, like in 11 games, the Capitals have 46 goals for. So maybe it's going to happen this year.
He needs 34. That means he needs to score 38 on the year. I mean, Alex Ovechkin scoring 38 goals. I'm taking that bet. I'm sorry, I am taking that bet. I don't care that he is 39. I don't care that he is 60. I don't care that he is in a wheelchair. The whole arena, the people watching on TV, my grandmother knows that when number 8 is standing with his controller disconnected on that right circle, he is taking that slap shot, and more often than not, that slap shot is going in. All right. You guys don't believe in it. I do believe in it. That's okay. Let's let us know in the comments.
Give the man a story.
Among the preseason favorites in their division, the Colorado Avalanche and Nashville Predators are still at the bottom of the Central. Will any of these two teams, or maybe even both, miss the playoffs? Kevin, I'm letting you go first on this one.
All right. Well, I'm going to say both will miss the playoffs because over the last 5 years, when you're 4 points and more away from a playoff spot at this point of the season, 98% of those teams did not make the playoffs. That's a high number. And those two teams are exactly at that spot as we speak. And who's going to be the goalie for Colorado? Georgiev, Anunen? You got my answer. Both are missing the playoffs.
Wow.
And
Kevin
I'm here.
Laramie, he's out here grinching it today. I love it.
I like it. It's bold, but maybe Kev, you will turn out right at the end of this season. For me, I feel that the Predators can, wrap it up and finally make the playoffs. But for me, it's the injuries with the Colorado Avalanche. For me, they are missing the playoffs this year. And
wow.
Yeah, but if you're in the Central, the teams are doing fine, and I don't know. I don't see the Colorado Avalanche having that much kind of chance of turning things around. It's kind of hard for them right now, and with the goaltending, as Kev said, I'm not pretty sure that they're gonna do the playoffs. And if they're not doing the playoffs, is Jared Bednar losing his job?
I think so.
He's in the edge of losing his job.
Will he be given the benefit of the doubt with the poor goaltending? Not his fault. Injuries, not his fault. It's funny. I said we were going to have probably a majority on every of those statements, but we do not have a majority on this because I agree with Daph. Only one of those two teams will miss the playoff, but unfortunately, it will be the Nashville Predators. I say unfortunately because I had them winning the division. I say unfortunately because three of my favorite players in the league play for that team. Short King Yusei Saros, the prettiest man in the NHL, Roman Josi, and Stammer Time. But the way I see things is that right now I'm looking at the current state of the Western Conference. I see two teams I am confident that are in the playoffs right now and will miss them. So only two teams get in that are not in the playoffs right now. And to me, those two teams are the Edmonton Oilers and the Colorado Avalanche. Kevin has really, really great argument with both injuries and goaltending. I mean,
yeah.
Kel McCarr and Nathan McKinnon will carry the load. They will carry this team on their back if they have to. They will do it. I am confident. I'm not confident they go deep in the playoff. No. Am I confident they get back high in the standings? No. I am confident they're making the playoffs. Sitting at only 5 goals in 13 games and now injured day to day, Auston Matthews will score less than 40 goals for the first time since 2018, 2019. I will go first on this. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Now the injury is giving me cold feet a bit, but the only way Matthews doesn't score 40 is if he plays less than 65 games. It's Auston Matthews. He will go on at any point in the season, he will go on a 10 goals in 6 game streak. I'm confident in this, and he will score his 40 goals. Daph?
Yeah, me too. I don't really have any doubt, even if it's maybe a little bit concerning for him right now. This is an offensive team. He finds ways to, score goals. I'm not sure he's going to have it. As you said, he's Auston Matthews. I have faith in the power of the mustache.
Oh, and you're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. Are you really a heel, Kevin?
I guess I am a heel because
I can't believe it.
I think the reason why he's not scoring right now has nothing to do with him, has nothing to do with how he's playing, but it's system related. It's system related. And that means he hasn't gotten used to how to play the system while still contributing offensively. That won't change in a week. That won't change in 2 weeks. You need a lot of time to adjust that. And he needs a few days, if not a week or so, to even 2 weeks of not playing. And you need to practice, talk with your teammates, but especially Chief, which is a coach, to establish how to offensively contribute and at the same time play in the role that Berube asked. Now, of course, he's got an injury, upper body injury. I don't know if it's a sprained mustache. Maybe that's his injury. We'll see over the next few days when more becomes clear. But I think that's why. Matthews is not scoring to the same level as he is used to because he doesn't have the permission to play the way he used to.
That's interesting. Very interesting. Kevin is alone on his island on this one. Finally, it's not me. We'll conclude this. At 32 years old, Vegas Golden Knights captain Mark Stone is on pace for the most productive season of his already solid career. Often injured, Stone's talent has never been in doubt. His durability, though, yes. Will he play over 80 games? That's all. That's it. Will he play over 80 games for only the second time of his career this season? I'm not asking you if he keeps the pace. I'm just asking you, does Mark Stone play 80 games? That.
In what unicorn or Delulu world are you living in if you think he's going to make it 80, he's going to play 80 games or more? He has done it once in his career, 2014, 2015. This is 10 years ago. No, I don't think so. I don't think that we're going to see him for 80 games. I'm sorry, but I'm not.
You're sorry, but you're not sorry.
I'm sorry, but not sorry. He's not going to play over 80 games. I'm not betting $1 on this one.
No, and Mark Stone hasn't been that rock solid over the last few years, if you want to go there. And I also believe that because contractually speaking, how the Vegas Golden Knights have been doing over the last few years is, oh, you're injured? Okay, let's put you on the shelf for a while. Let's make a trade. Let's get somebody else on the payroll. And then at the end of the day, the playoffs start, well, you're good to go. And we don't have to pay as much for the salary cap wise. Yeah, you're going to receive the same salary. But on the salary cap, it doesn't have the same calculations and the total is a bit lower. So, yeah, call me skeptical, but Mark Stone will be on the injured reserve over the next few months. And then they'll save some money, get a trade done. And when playoff time comes, Mark Stone will be good to go.
Kevin stole my punch. I was going to say 4 letters. LTIR. We know for a fact the Vegas Golden Knights will need it. And we both had him on our Team Canada's roster, Daph. I think if he's healthy at that point, he goes to that 4 nations face-off. Let's face it, it's not the Olympics, not that big of a tourney. But I do think he will at some point miss more than 2 games. Because not even he's Mark Stone. They're the Vegas Golden Knights. They will need their LTIR. No, all jokes aside, I don't see it happening.
They're kind of the NBA team with the load management.
they're the Philadelphia 76ers. Yeah. There you go. Joel Embiid and Mike Stone, the same problem.
Yeah, they might be onto something because we often say that the healthiest team is the best team in the playoffs. Well, there you have it, folks. That was another episode of Hyperdrive Hockey. Let us know in the comments. What is your Team Canada roster? You want to react to any of the 4 statements we just read? Say who is right, who is wrong. Also, let us know in the comments. Tonight, on Tuesday night, the Calgary Flames are playing the Montreal Canadiens. Join in for a joint game over between Game Over Calgary and Game Over Montreal, of course. And follow Game Over Network in your local market. My name is Maxime Vanout, along Daphne Malbeuf and Kevin Laramie. We will talk to you on the next episode of Hyperdrive Hockey. Have a good day, you beautiful hockey fans, and talk to you on the next episode.